Everyone, let's talk about what the best way for kids to buy and hold Bitcoin is. All right, so let's start with if your kid is below the age of 13 and or they don't have a phone, then you're just going to have to hold it for them, either in a spreadsheet where you keep track of what they own and you just keep up with it yourself, or that's basically it. Or somehow you got to keep up with it because Cash App will not allow a kid less than 13 to have an account, and if they don't have a phone, they don't have a phone. So less than 13 for my kids, less than 13, I just track it on a spreadsheet. And they tell me when they're buying or selling Bitcoin, and I just track it for them and buy and sell my own Bitcoin in corresponding amounts. Okay, that's below 13. My kids get smartphones at 13. So anyway, if your kids have a smartphone like mine do when they turn 13, then they can get Cash App. Cash App is the best way for kids to buy and sell Bitcoin. The fees are kind of high, but again, at that age and for the amount that they're buying and selling, what I do is I just offer to make the kids whole on Cash App fees out of my own pocket. So that way, if they're buying $10 or $100 of Bitcoin or something like that, they're not getting eaten alive with fees because I offer to subsidize the price of the fees because they don't have another good option. So for my kids, once they turn 13, for small amounts of money, the limit on Cash App is $400 per month. So when my kids are 13 and they're just buying and selling Bitcoin to buy stuff with a Cash App debit card, they basically save their money in Bitcoin and then sell it if they need to go buy whatever it is they want to buy. But anyway, you can do that on Cash App up to $400 a month. As your kids get older and have jobs, $400 a month no longer works because their income is exceeding that, or they just the nature of their finances is it's just gets larger. All right, so as it gets larger, you have two options. One, as soon as the kid turns 18, wide open. They can get a River account, they can get a Coinbase account, wide open. But between the ages of 13 and 18, once they are, the total amount of sort of Bitcoin buying and selling or whatever exceeds $400 a month, you have two options. One is for them to store their Bitcoin on Bitkey, my favorite long-term Bitcoin storage device. You just buy them their own Bitkey device. So in the case of my kids, they all have a Bitkey device and store long-term storage Bitcoin on their Bitkey device. And if you want, but I should say, if you want your kid to be able to buy and sell large amounts on their own without having to leverage you to do it, then the best option is for them to use a Robinhood account. Well, I'm not going to recommend this because it's using an account that they're not, they're using one of your accounts. So let me tell you what I do, and then you can form your own opinion about what you do. What I do is I let, for example, I've got one kid, one of my four kids is in that donut hole where their transaction volume exceeds $400 per month, but they're not yet 18. I've got one kid who's 18, so we're good on that front. I've got a kid who's less than 10. I manage with a spreadsheet. I've got a kid who's 13 who Cash App, he doesn't exceed yet the $400 buying or selling limit per month on Cash App. So I've got one kid in the donut hole who's 16, who has too much, you know, there's too much Bitcoin movement for Cash App to work because it's limited to $400 a month. So for him, like the other kids, he's got Bitkey. And so if he needs to buy or sell large amounts, he can just send me the money on Cash App and I buy the Bitcoin and send it to his Bitkey device. But if you want the kid themselves to be able to buy or sell large amounts, then they can use, or again, let me frame it as what I do. I just let my 16-year-old have access to my Robinhood account. So I'm logged into my Robinhood account on my phone. He's logged into my Robinhood on his Robinhood account on his phone, and he can do whatever he wants on there. Because all the assets on there, which is Bitcoin, that's the only thing on there, is some Bitcoin that he bought himself that he has not yet moved to Bitkey. But he can. So that's basically Robinhood account or something like that. The reason I don't say give your kid a River account or a Coinbase login is because in my case, I'm using my own River account and my own Coinbase login. So I don't want one of my kids having access to my River account or my Coinbase account because those are actively used accounts on a daily basis, versus my Robinhood account, which is just an account I have left over from the past. So less than 10 years or less than 13-year-old use a spreadsheet. 13 to 18 use Cash App. And if you need to buy larger amounts, the kid can Cash App to you, you can buy it for them and send it to their BitKey device, and vice versa. And if you need your kid to actually have an actual trading account where they can buy and sell and hold and whatever else, and if they think they can do day trading, it's helpful for them to get that out of their system when the stakes are low. They will lose money, they will lose their shirt, but if the stakes are low, better for them to get that out of their system when the stakes are low than for them to grow up believing that they can day trade anything, because they will lose. They will always lose day trading. Everyone loses day trading, but it's helpful in a lot of kids, especially males, seem to be born with an inherent belief that they know how to day trade. So anyway, those are the options. Cash App, and then Robinhood if you need sort of a high velocity buy and sell account that links to BitKey. But again, Robinhood, you can't have a kid's account, so they got to be logged in with your credentials, and it's got to be a Robinhood account you're not using for other things. But BitKey is the magic solution. I would get every one of your kids a BitKey, link it up to their phone. That is their long-term Bitcoin savings and storage, and it's brilliant. Works for adults, works for kids. Brilliant solution. Get a BitKey. That is absolutely the right answer. And let me know if you need anything. I'm always here to help. Thanks.